You guys asked for this at least 20 times a year, usually this time of year. It is, can you overwinter perennials outdoors in containers specifically? And my answer almost always is no. However, I'm going to show you, if you absolutely must overwinter perennials outdoors for the winter season, how to do it properly and what is going to give you the most success, ranging from the most likely to have success to the least likely to have success. So let's get into it. So the reason for my video is actually this plant right here. It is still in its container. If you're a follower of this channel, you know that I unfortunately lost my mom and two of my grandmas in less than 3 months. Needless to say, my motivation to do much of anything other than rest my heart and soul is pretty much zero. So I have an apple tree that's in a container. In particular, it's in a container that's like fabric and organic, and so it has a very low likelihood of survival if I chose to just leave it in place, which is why I had to do the appropriate research to find out the best methods to overwinter based on actual studies on containers. So the most likely to overwinter is hands down overwintering inside. Yes, unfortunately. Now, the overwintering inside is very specific. It has to be in a shed or a garage that for the most part is unheated, unless if you are in a very cold climate, then you want to have it heated. So 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit specifically, is mostly what I read, is the ideal range for these plants to be in. In the event you live in an environment that has Chinooks or a lot of freeze thaw, if it gets over 40 degrees Fahrenheit, you want to water the plant. Not much, just a little sprinkle, because it could go into some active growth until it begins to cool down once again. You don't need a light or anything like that. And preferably you would overwinter with little to no foliage in place. So that is option one, and the most likely for success. Option number two is one of those, give it a shot. It'll likely succeed, but the rates of survival start to actually kind of go down from this point out, and start the other perennials I have not yet planted. And this one is from the U of S, and it is a black currant. Yeah, I've got a few. I've got my work cut out for me this weekend. So this bad boy here, he's obviously in a container. My options are to perennial plant him in the fall. I have a video on how to do that, so go check that out. If I did not want to perennial plant them, and say I wanted a black currant pot for the rest of my life, my second option would be to actually place this entire pot into the ground. Yes, sounds bizarre, but it works brilliantly. So I want to dig a hole, I put the pot in, and I will sink it up until the edge of the pot, and I want to mulch it with about 5 inches of mulch. In an ideal world, I would have another pot over top to keep that mulch in place, and I would be mulching this entire environment for the greatest success. And then in the spring, when everything unthaws, I'm just going to simply lift my pot out and place it where it needs to be. Now, I don't have to pot this entire pot. I could if I chose to put it in a smaller pot, but you just want to make sure that your surface is covered. The other thing is you want to make sure there's little to no moisture. So you can see I've let this guy dry out quite substantially, and that's how I would put that in. And again, if you choose this route to actually put the entire pot in the soil, you want to make sure that you're doing it in an in-ground bed whenever possible, or a raised bed that is not highly raised. So we're not talking 2, 3, 4 feet. We're talking a foot or less, and popping it into that space, and that will help a lot. Now, the absolute last ditch effort you should try is the grouping method. Now, the grouping method can work to an extent, but it's not known for its best result. So what you would do is you would take all your containers and you would group them together in an area that is protected. So if you can get them between 2 physical structures or 4 physical structures, that is ideal. Up against a fence, up against a house, between a house and a fence, something of that nature. You want to group all your pots together, and then you want to mulch the pots in their entirety. So all of them, you're just going to put the mulch everywhere in that space. And then again, 5, 6 inches. If you can put physical bales around the pots, that's even better. And then as snow, this is the rule for both the in-ground planted as well as the communal pot space, is as it snows, you're going to put more and more snow onto that area to help shield it and ultimately give it some insulation, because snow is an insulator. So that would be the next option. And obviously once the spring hits, you can move them into the greenhouse, get them a head start, or you could just leave them outdoors to kind of rejuvenate themselves as time goes on, and then repot them or pot them up, or whatever the case is. The pot size doesn't matter in the group method. Ideal world, you would have larger pots. So you would want your pots to be bigger, being on the larger side, and you could use other pots without plants, so your annual potted plants, to kind of buffer around the perennials in the pot. So if you put the perennials in the middle, and then you put your annual pots with soil around the edges and then mulch that, you're even going to get a greater success. So those are the 3 methods in which you can overwinter pots, perennial pots outdoors, successful-ish, pending how cold your actual winter does get. Now, keep in mind, this is particular to your zone. So I wouldn't take a zone 6 perennial and try to overwinter it outdoors in a zone 3. I would take a zone 3, maybe a zone 4, zone 2, zone 1, absolutely, and try to overwinter them in my area. I wouldn't go up more than 1 zone. So I would never try zone 5 or zone 6. It just simply won't work. If you wanted to overwinter something that is outside your zone, that's more tropical perennial, that is when I would consider actually overwintering in a garage or in an indoor kind of cold cellar space. So keep that in mind. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you chose to overwinter and why, and whether or not it worked, how you did it. Because if you're new to this channel, the comment section, the actual gardening, the GIC crew, the GIC crew is much smarter for their area than I am for the area that you likely live in. So area specific comments are always helpful. Actually, this is kind of fun fact. I've been getting a lot of comments lately saying that the video was helpful, but the comment section was equally as helpful because of how descriptive you guys are in your gardening methods. So please do put those. There's no wrong way to garden. There's no wrong way to garden. That's the truth. So I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.